right, happy Wednesday evening. Is Wednesday, August 3rd, 2022. I'm Riley King. Welcome to this Wednesday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Wednesday evening, so let's get started right now. First up, we're going to talk about the weather. Weather right now is sunny, 82 degrees, feels like 83 degrees. Expect dry conditions for the next 6 hours. There are 2 weather alerts. There is a air quality alert from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Thursday, and also there is a heat advisory in effect from noon Thursday to 8 p.m. Friday. Expect heat and air quality alert for 2 days. With a full weather forecast, let's go to meteorologist Kevin Scrippa. And meteorologist Kevin Scrippa is saying a warm, sunny day with more heat ahead in New Hampshire. Let's take a listen to that full weather forecast from meteorologist Kevin Scrippa right now.
What does it take to be the best? It takes guts, grit.
Sunshine and mid to upper 80s to near 90 degrees this afternoon. This with the humidity coming down some this afternoon, although it will return in a big way tomorrow. Heat advisories posted for central and southern areas of the state for the daylight hours tomorrow. That will be with heat indices rising into the upper 90s to even near 100. There is a front back to the west, but this one is going to be pretty sluggish to come all the way through New England and provide much cooler, drier air for the weekend. The humidity likely sticks around through Sunday and Monday. Temperatures this afternoon up into the 80s across the area. A couple of southern spots reaching 90 for the second straight day. Just about everybody will top out above 90 degrees after lows in the 60s tonight to the day on Thursday. Humidity will be coming up as well. Dew points will be in the 60s to lower range of the 70s by the time we get there. Chance of a late day shower or storm in the North Country on Thursday, and a chance just about kind of scattered around anywhere else. A couple of brief heavier downpours are a possibility in between the drier hours Thursday night and into Friday. Does look like we get our way into the weekend. Still 80s with that humidity in place Saturday. Small chance of a pop-up shower or storm, and then 80s to lower 90s again on Sunday, with a more impressive front eventually trying to approach Monday and Tuesday. But it does look like the higher humidity, after a little bit of a break today, returns in a big way starting tomorrow. That'll be around for the weekend. There's a look at your 7-day forecast, which has that summer sizzle all the way through Monday.
Okay, and there you go on that weather forecast from meteorologist Kevin Scrippa. Thank you for that, Kevin. And now let's get to your news. First up, death of woman, 2 children under investigation in Northfield. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Yeah, Jen, I'm still in front of Wethersfield Drive, and local police still have the neighborhood blocked off. But about a half an hour ago, one police officer did come up to me and said that they will be opening up the neighborhood relatively soon. We're not really exactly sure when that will be, but then after that point, we'll be able to get a closer look at the crime scene. But this has been the case for the last couple hours now. The Major Crimes Division unit, they've been here for over 2 hours investigating the case, and we've been talking with local residents and neighbors who don't want to go on camera, but they are absolutely shocked. There's one neighbor that is the next door neighbor to Wethersfield Drive, and she says she's been living here for over 26 years, and she has never experienced anything like this. She said the craziest thing that's happened around this area was a robbery that happened down the road, but she does know a lot of people down Wethersfield Drive, and they have a lot of kids, and of course, it is confirmed 3 suspicious deaths, 1 woman and 2 children. A really sad scene. We're still waiting to hear from the attorney generals or any other people that have information so we can update you guys on air and also online. But live in front of Wethersfield Drive in Northfield, I'm Troy Lynch, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Death of New Hampshire Police Academy recruit puts focus on mental health. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Welcome to your world, your why. What drives you? What do you want to leave behind? That's your why. It's your purpose, and we will work with you every step of the way to achieve it.
People are in shock. This came out of left field. Nobody was expecting anything like this.
An emergency department meeting held here at the Bow Police Department at 6 o'clock last night to announce the tragic and untimely death of the newest hire. The officer was found dead in his car on day 2 of Police Academy training in Concord.
He was a great kid. He's been working there since the 13th of June. Always on time, good attitude, always smiling. Just a really good kid, so it just took us all by surprise.
The critical incident response team was activated. Chief David Goldstein has been prioritizing first responder mental health in New Hampshire since the 70s and was at the Police Academy on Tuesday morning teaching a 4-hour class on coping with stress on the job and the resources available. He had just left the academy when he got the call to come back.
We look for, right off the bat, who's most effective. Whatever the situation happens to be. So we try to find that individual or a small group of individuals and assure them that, in point of fact, we're here to help.
In Bow, critical incident training is part of the staff development here.
We're trying to create an in-house peer support team that has all this training that officers can go to if need be.
Confidential help is available 24/7 here in New Hampshire for anyone who finds themselves in crisis or distress. Simply call or text 988. In Manchester, Amy Cavino, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Judge dismisses 8 charges against Zuzowski. 15 charges remain. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Jen, the judge said in its ruling today the state hadn't proved beyond a reasonable doubt that Zukowski was impaired by drugs at the time of the crash, and because of that burden was not met, he dismissed the 7 negligent homicide charges, all relating to driving while intoxicated, along with an aggravated DUI charge. But he denied the request to toss out the other charges, meaning Zukowski still faces 15 criminal counts, including manslaughter and other negligent homicide charges unrelated to being under the influence in the crash that killed 7 motorcycle riders in Randolph back in 2019. These new developments all came as the prosecution rested its case today, calling its final 2 witnesses, the medical examiner finishing her testimony at times graphic, detailing the traumatic injuries sustained by the riders. And the state's final witness you see here, Joshua Morin, was one of the riders injured that day who has needed 20 surgeries since that crash. With the state's case now rested and the judge having ruled on that motion to dismiss, it means Zukowski's lawyers will now present his defense, calling their first witness 9 a.m. tomorrow. In the studio, Steve Botari, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. More monkeypox vaccine being sent to New Hampshire. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Walmart, America's largest, is hiring. Earn $23.55 to $28.10 per hour plus benefits. Working at Walmart's Raymond Distribution Center. 50 full-time positions available. Apply today online or text DC to 240-240. Walk-ins welcomed.
Jen, the federal government recently announced phase 3 of its vaccine rollout and is allocating New Hampshire an additional 1,140 doses. New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services says the first shipment should arrive soon with more than 450 doses. Right now, the state has been vaccinating people with known exposures, but the state health department says this additional allotment will allow them to begin expanding that vaccination process to include those at highest risk for contracting the virus. State epidemiologist Dr. Benjamin Chan says that while a majority of infections have occurred in men who have sex with other men, anyone engaging in high-risk sexual activity could contract the virus. However, monkeypox is not considered a sexually transmitted disease. Experts continue to encourage anyone who may have rashes, lesions, or known contact with somebody who's infected to reach out to their doctor. Live in the studio, Marissa Tansino, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Several vehicles destroyed in fire at garage in Bartlett. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
You could go to Grainger.com to find what you need to get the job done. Grainger, supplies and solutions for every industry.
Yep. Oh, my Lord. I might be able to get around by the school.
Yeah.
Okay, that was local video of several vehicles destroyed in a fire at a garage in Bartlett. The fire broke out after 10 a.m. Wednesday. Firefighters responded to the scene of a fire at a garage that contained multiple vehicles in Bartlett on Wednesday. Crews arrived at the scene on Route 302 just after 10 a.m. Wednesday. Firefighters from several area towns responded. The building and all the vehicles were destroyed. Proposal would provide $1 in federal funding to upgrade fire stations. Let's take a listen to that video from WBAL TV 11 News, Baltimore.
It creates a $1 billion federal funding program. Now, here at Station 4, for example, they could use an upgrade. Built in 1928, there's no air conditioning or sprinkler system. Bunks on the second floor are where a hayloft used to be to feed horses that once pulled the equipment. Firehouse 4 in Catonsville responds to 8,000 calls each year. The equipment is in top shape, the staff well-trained, but firefighters complain the facility built in 1928 is not up to par.
It's dated, it's old, and it's expensive.
Issues include a lack of air conditioning or sprinkler system, no female quarters. Bunks are located in the hayloft, left over from a time when horses pulled fire equipment.
The fire service has had to make choices. Do we replace equipment, or do we replace fire stations?
Maryland U.S. Senators Chris Van Hollen, Ben Cardin, and Congressman Kwasi Mfume are pushing legislation to help.
This legislation would authorize $1 billion every year to make sure that firehouses and other emergency facilities in Maryland and around the country have the support they need to do their job, so that when those men and women go out on a mission, they have a fire station that is worthy of their sacrifice.
According to a recent national report, 59% of firehouses surveyed are without exhaust emission control systems. 43% are over 40 years old. 35% have no backup power. Few have separate facilities for female firefighters, and all express concern about mold remediation.
The real challenge is modernizing the bones, the infrastructure of the fire department. And that's what this bill does. A realistic sum of money to make a difference in this country.
This particular measure does just that. It takes care of firefighters.
The legislation covers volunteer stations as well. 71 volunteer firehouses surveyed said they had the same upgrade needs. Reporting live from Catonsville, David Collins, WVAL TV 11 News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Orange Line shutdown coming. Governor Baker, transportation officials reveal details, objectives. Scheduled to begin at 9 p.m. on August 19th. Let's take a listen to that video from WCVB Boston.
Today we're announcing plans to accelerate major track and maintenance work on the Orange Line during a 30-day shutdown of the entire line from 9 p.m. on August 19th through September 18th, with service resuming on Monday, September 19th. The T's implemented shutdowns in the past across the system to accelerate infrastructure upgrades, so we know this method works. But this 30-day period will be the longest service diversion overseen by the T for an entire line, so that they can get work done faster, so riders will see improved service, safety, and reliability on a much faster timeline. To put it in perspective, the 30 days of 24-hour access to rebuild and replace tracks across this line will replace what would have taken 5 full years of weekend and evening diversions, and the T will also take full advantage of this opportunity to deliver far better service and a more modern infrastructure for its riders. The track repairs along over 3,500 feet of rail will eliminate Orange Line slowdowns and create faster trips and safer rides for riders. They'll also prevent future unplanned service disruptions by upgrading the track. This means that delays in Orange Line service or an unplanned shuttle diversion due to a degraded track condition will be prevented thanks to completely repaired or replaced track that will be put in place during this shutdown. The closure will also allow the T to accelerate planned repairs and upgrades by working on things like replacing crossovers, installing upgraded signal systems, and technical track work beyond just where the train carries riders, all at the same time. These 30 days will also provide the T with the opportunity to accomplish a large amount of work that will result in substantially improved service for riders, fewer delays, and faster Orange Line trips. And at the end of those 30 days, we also anticipate that the entire Orange Line will be a fleet made up primarily of new cars. We know that any diversion, particularly one like this, will be frustrating to riders, and we appreciate their patience as the T implements this short-term work that can result in long-term benefits on a much shorter time frame and get to the place we all need to get to much more quickly. While this surge is obviously a major diversion for the T, the work that's been taking place across the system for the past several years puts it in good stead to get it done and to get it done right. Additional work that will be done over the course of this period of time will be train protection and track upgrades on the E and D branches of the Green Line, improvement work on the Red Line, in which the T is reconstructing the track crossing between Alewife and Davis stations to allow for increased operating speed, and replacing the Dorchester Avenue Bridge, and automatic train control work, bridge work, and signal work that will continue, which has been going on for years on the commuter rail. The work builds on the investments we've made into making the T a more reliable, more modern, and safer service, and they've done this work in many cases successfully in other venues over the course of the past 5 or 6 years. I'll now turn it over to General Manager Poftak, who can get into more detail on this work and provide an update on the T's progress. Thank you.
Okay, there you go. Again, the schedule to begin at 9 p.m. on August 19th. And it'll be a 30-day total shutdown of the MBTA Orange Line. Vice President Kamala Harris to visit Boston's Martha's Vineyard on first trip to Massachusetts. Let's take a listen to that video from WCVB Boston.
This is supersonic Wi-Fi from Xfinity. It's fast. Like riding a cheetah fast. Isn't that right, girl? Oh! It can connect hundreds of devices at once. That's powerful. Couldn't have said it better myself. Unbeatable internet, only from Xfinity.
Vice President Kamala Harris will visit Massachusetts tomorrow. The vice president will first travel to Boston to meet with state lawmakers and local leaders to talk about the fight to protect reproductive rights. After the roundtable, she's going to head to Martha's Vineyard for 2 DNC finance events.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. That does it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Have a great evening. Good night and goodbye.